Oh, what is the Upskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXGamerCast. We're on episode 117 of my little gaming show where once a week I just has to talk about video games, whether they're old video games that I grew up with, new video games that I'm playing today. It doesn't matter. Video games. And today we're doing a big one from my backlog. And that game is Rockstar's Bully. I mean, damn, dude, this game, I've known of it ever since it came out. I actually wasn't allowed to play this game because of the name Bully. My grandma, my guardians were like, nah, they didn't like the name Bully. They thought it would be all about bullying. Little did they know, the game isn't strictly about bullying, so we'll be talking about Bully the game, and is this game still worth playing today, and should Rockstar remake Bully, reboot Bully, and bring Bully back? I mean, let's just answer that right now. Fuck yes, bring back Bully. Let's do it, baby. Maybe change the name, I don't know, because the Bully thing, it's not a great name for the game. It's hard to market that, especially today. It was hard to market back then, even harder to market now. So maybe they can change the name to like Bullsworth Academy or something, the name of the school. We'll get into the details. But before we get into the major bully talk, let's talk about what I've been up to over the last week or so. As I always encourage you, the viewer, the listener, let me know what you've been up to over the last whatever amount of time. What Halloween movies did you take in over the Halloween month? I watched so many horror movies. I'm kind of proud of myself. We'll talk about a couple more that I witnessed in a moment. But let me know, what games are you playing out there right now? There's lots of great gaming going on. There's Call of Duty. You playing that? Did you get into Meta 4? I'm hearing people are finishing that game now. I am so tempted to get it, but I'm trying to wait. I'm trying my best to wait. I want it now, but I want to wait because, I mean, honestly, I would love to wait for, Meta 4, fucking Royal, or whatever they're going to do with it, but that's like probably a year and a half, 2 years away, so I don't know if I can wait that long, but I'll wait a little bit. I'll wait until I have more of an itch. I already played Persona 3 this year, so I'll personally wait, but if you've picked up Meta 4, let me know if you're enjoying it, and let's talk about what I've been up to over the last whatever amount of time. We got a couple more Shudder movies to talk about. My subscription has ended, but not really. I was done my free trial, went to cancel it, and they're like, yo, we'll give you 3 months for half off. I was like, damn it, you got me. There's still some movies on my list on Shudder that I would like to check out. So bam, I'm locked in for another 3 months. So well done, Shudder. You got me. But I watched 2 more of their movies, and let's talk about them. So the first one I checked out was When Evil Lurks. Damn, this movie was a little bit shocking. Definitely caught me off guard a couple of times, but this movie was really cool. It is a, a foreign film, so there is subtitles you will be reading, but really didn't bother me at all. The concept of the movie is very, very interesting. There is a lot of shit going on, like, that you kind of have to put together, because they kind of throw you in the kind of right into the middle of whatever the fuck is going on in this town, this area. But basically there is like a pandemic, not of the virus, I don't know if it really, but possessed. People will get possessed, and there's like a certain group that have to get rid of it in a proper way, but those people are very scarce now to remove these possessed. So they have a possessed on their hands. It's like they've let it go way too long, and like it's at a critical moment now. So they basically show up, they see what's going on. This creature is about to give birth to something horrible, and they just decide, we're going to get rid of it, get it away from us. Things go wrong, obviously, and whoa, dude, this is one of the more interesting kind of possession movies I've seen. There's a very unique set of rules that they break and they try to follow, which makes things worse and better. It's just like, whoa, dude. But this movie has a couple of scenes in it that I was just like, holy shit. I did not see that coming. This is definitely not for the faint of heart. I would not recommend it to everybody. There is a lot of violence towards kind of more so the untouchables in the horror realm. There is some children violence. There's a ton of animal violence, so if that is not for you, I couldn't recommend this one, but it was a great watch. I was very invested in it. It's just a really cool situation. Like I had to look into the movie a little bit, kind of figure out what was going on around and get some of the lore, get some of what is going on around this movie. But I don't want to spoil the big major moments of it, but like, geez, man, there is a scene with a little girl and a dog that just caught me off guard. I was just like, oh my mouth was agape. I was just like in shock. I was like, did that just happen? That was insane. And that's what this movie delivers a handful of times throughout my viewing of this one. Quite a handful of shocks. I enjoyed this movie. I'd hit it with an 8 out of 10, but definitely not for the faint of heart. So keep that in mind. If you don't like that was one of the first disclaimers I saw on this one, was like, don't watch it if you don't like the animal violence, which I'm definitely not a fan of. I hate it. I kind of hate that it's become a pretty common trope now in horror movies, is to just attack and hurt the animals, because everyone loves animals. They're so innocent and cute. But yeah, this movie definitely crosses some borders. They're not afraid to. Definitely not afraid. The director of this one, he's got a little bit of a reputation now of going outside those boundaries, which is totally fine with me. It's a movie. It's not real, so it's okay with me. It was very, very I wouldn't say entertaining, but it was a good-ass watch. I was super engaged. Really liked it from start to finish. 8 out of 10 for When Evil Lurks. And the next one I watched was a pretty popular one right now on the scene. It's one of the newer movies out there, and that is Violent in Nature. This is a very unique twist on your classic slasher film. Think classic Friday the 13th. If you like those movies, and you might really enjoy this one. This is definitely one of those love it or hate it movies. It takes some patience. There's definitely some patience needed to watch this movie. It is a slasher movie, but in the view of the slasher. So you're following around the killer, and there is a lot of shots. There is a good chunk of the movie where you're just behind the killer and he's walking through the forest. It's a lot of atmosphere. It's a lot of tension building. It's a lot of that stuff. You need patience, and they test that patience within like the first 10 minutes of the movie. And if you can't make it through that, I mean, it doesn't get worse, but that's kind of like the beginning of the movie. There is like a still shot, and you're just kind of looking at a frame for like 5-10 minutes while something happens, and you're just kind of like, what's going on here? But it gets going, and yes, what is the best known thing about this movie right now is that it's got one of the greatest kills in a long time. And I will confirm that kill was fucking awesome. If you don't want to watch the whole movie and you just want to see this kill, it's a gruesome kill, so be ready. But just look up Violent in Nature yoga kill. Just look up the yoga kill. You'll find it. It's like 2.5 minutes long. It is intense. It is a hell of a kill. Very impressive. The girl, she gets it bad, but she didn't even fucking try to get away. I showed my wife it. I'm just like, yo, look, she had time to go, but she just accepts it, and this guy gives it to her bad. But outside of that, outside of the unique way that it's filmed, kind of behind the guy, there's some really unique scenes. Like the first scene, the first kind of kill, he's walking through the forest in the daytime, like it's daytime, nighttime, and he's just walking up on this house. He sees this guy arguing with a sheriff, and he just walks into the house. The whole thing is this guy's like looking for his locket. Someone takes his necklace away. It summons the demon. He starts walking around killing anybody with a necklace, looking for his necklace. So he goes into the house and he finds a necklace. This guy walks back into his house. He shoots it, realizes that this thing is not human. And it was a really funny scene, actually, because the guy is just like, stay away from me. And he's like running slowly, and what the hell are you? And he's just really scared. And, but the kills are hit and miss. There's like that first kill there, you don't actually see it. You just kind of get pieces of what's going on. There's some kills, like there's no kill on the quality of the yoga kill. That kill is on a level of its own. And then the rest of the kills are kind of standard, like nothing too crazy. There's a pretty good one involving the sheriff. That was a pretty good one. But yeah, I can't really recommend it for everyone. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I'm sitting at like a 6.5 out of 10. There's just like I said, there's a lot of just kind of following the guy around. The kills were one extremely good one, the rest were kind of whatever. The character himself, the main dude, he's fine, he's all right. You know, some unique weapons, I guess. The characters all suck. They're kind of supposed to in your classic slasher movie because they're all gonna die. So they kind of make them suck and not very likable because they're gonna die. So you don't want to really like them, but it would have been nice maybe to enjoy a couple of the people. But yeah, not really a likable cast of people. A unique movie, really nicely shot. Like, I like the way that it looked, very pretty. Nice shots walking through the forest and some violence absolutely going on out there. But yeah, I don't know if you like slasher movies, check it out. It's definitely unique. It was different, and I enjoyed it enough. 6.5 out of 10. It was a solid watch. I had a good enough time. Didn't hate it. And in terms of video games that I'm playing, kind of the same old deal. Still rocking some Black Ops 6. I got into the campaign now, and I'm having myself a good little time. I was a little turned off by the idea that they're going to have open world levels. And I got to those levels, and they're actually pretty fucking good. It really reminds me of kind of Far Cry, the open world, where you just kind of go up to camps and outposts and you can do whatever you want. You can snipe them, you can be stealthy, you can go in guns blazing. It's kind of like that. They just give you like an area, and there's like a handful of little missions you can do, like, go find this supply crate, go destroy this thing, go destroy that thing, and you're in a little open world, and you can just do it how you please. You can go around. They got the fast travel. It's pretty fun. It's better than the last open world thing they did with Call of Duty. I forget who did it, but it wasn't great. It was a decent attempt, but this one's much better. And so far, the levels are pretty fun. The story is, I don't really know what's going on because I don't remember, honestly, any of the Black Ops campaigns anymore. It's been so long, so I have no idea what the hell's going on anymore. Aside from, like, the Frank guy, he's like the main guy in the Black Ops games. He's here. I'm like, okay, I kind of remember you. You're in a wheelchair now, so what the fuck happened? But it's a pretty fun campaign. I'm not going to say it's the best fucking first-person shooter campaign I've ever played. Not even the best one I've played this year so far, but it's good. I'm having a good time with Call of Duty this year, and the reviews are kind of reflecting that. It's sitting at like an 84 on Metacritic, and I'm like, yeah, that seems pretty fair. Like, it's not changing anything Call of Duty wise. Like, I played the multiplayer. It's the exact same thing that I've played since fucking 2010. It's still the same Call of Duty. The zombies is really fun so far. I've only played 2 rounds of it. I really liked it. Got a few hours on the campaign. Really liking it. So yeah, I'm having a good time with Call of Duty so far. And the fact that it came out on Game Pass, I already have Game Pass. I didn't have to drop $100 on the new Call of Duty. Yeah, I'm having a really good time with Call of Duty. So yeah, let me know if y'all are jumping into the Call of Duty, how you liking it. What's your favorite part of the game so far? Are you digging multiplayer, zombies, campaign? I think so far, I don't know, man. It's pretty tight across the board. I'm enjoying everything equally fine. I mean, if I'm playing the least multiplayer because I only want to play it when my homie is online because I have a win streak going on. I want to keep that running, and I'm scared to go in by myself, and who the fuck knows the kind of teammates I'm going to get. But yeah, dude, I'm enjoying Call of Duty Black Ops 6 right now, and I'm going to continue playing it until I get bored of it or until I get mad or whatever. And I will admit I did get frustrated on the multiplayer the first day I played it, because it still has the same problems that Call of Duty always had. I mean, the spawns are terrible. I'm spawning behind people, killing them. I'm spawning in and getting killed instantly. Like, the spawns are still a fucking joke, and the usual problems with Call of Duty, you know? And I imagine eventually people are going to find out which weapons are game-breaking, and people are going to get annoying, and I already have that problem. I play hardcore, so you got people running around with pistols and one-shotting everybody. The usual Call of Duty problems, but hey, I'm having a good enough time with it, and I am still playing this war of mine. My goodness, I can't stop. The game is just very awesome. I'll continue to say, check it out. I got it so cheap for a few dollars. I think I paid for this game, and it is blowing the doors off in terms of expectations of what I had for this game, which were none. And this game has just grabbed me and won't let go, and I continue to play it, and I will continue to play it. So that's everything I've been up to. Let me know what y'all have been up to. I will still hear your scariest movies. Try and scare me. I dare you. It won't work. So there we go. Let's talk about freaking Bully, man. This game is awesome. Oh, baby, let's get into the Bully talk. Oh, man, so this is a Rockstar game that is not Grand Theft Auto, but it's not too far off from a Grand Theft Auto game, so let's talk about that. You are playing as troublemaker Jimmy Hopkins, and you get dropped off by your horrible parents. I mean, you only see them for about 35 seconds, but I got a good gauge on them. They're pieces of shit. Well, they drop you off at Bullworth Academy while they go on a 1-year-long honeymoon. Like, what? A 1-year-long honeymoon? Damn, son, that is what I'm talking about. So, Jimmy, you're playing as Jimmy, and Jimmy is off the freaking hook, man. Jimmy is so cool. Jimmy gives no fucks. I mean, he's gotten kicked out of every school that he's been to, and basically this is the final school that will take him, and man, I like Jimmy Hopkins a lot. He is awesome. Like I said, he gives no fucks. He will make out with any girl, fucking gross, hot, inbred, it doesn't matter. Jimmy is tough. He will knock out all the toughest kids, and goddamn, man, Jimmy is Jimmy. Jimmy is off the hook. But you get dropped off at this insane academy, man. Oh my goodness. Bullworth is an absolute madhouse of a school. You get there are fucking kids fighting all over the place. They're throwing stink bombs. They got potty mouths, and the teachers are no better. The teachers, you walk by a teacher, they'll insult you, they'll call you worthless, and it's just like, oh my goodness, what kind of awful place did I get dropped off in? This is awful, and it's absolute chaos in here, and I absolutely love it. This is freaking so much fun. This is so freaking cool. I love the concept of this game, that it's I wouldn't call it a Grand Theft Auto for kids, but it's definitely a very unique spin on the Grand Theft Auto formula, and they change it just enough that it feels similar to a Grand Theft Auto. I mean, when I first started playing it, I was like, yo, this feels and plays very similar to Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It feels very similar to that, but definitely has these really awesome, unique twists on that formula that just makes this game absolutely awesome. And we'll be talking about all of that. But you will be spending most of your time in Bullworth Academy. It's a campus, so it's like, you know, you have grounds, there's different buildings you will be visiting. You got the dorms, you got like a football field, you got other little areas to check out on the campus. And you do have a town as well that you can go to. You can travel out to the town using your bicycle. You're riding a bicycle, and you got a skateboard as well, but you can use a bike and a skateboard to get around, and you can go into town, and there's some shops to check out. There's a bike shop. There's little things to do in town as well. You know, your classic kind of Grand Theft Auto little things. There's races and ways to make money and all of that stuff. So this game is very close to that formula of Grand Theft Auto, but like I said, it's got these little twists that we will get into. But before we get there, let's talk about what this game looks like. It looks very similar to Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It's that third person. It looks just like Grand Theft Auto, man. Like, it was very impressive looking for the time. Of course, I will admit that this game, it took me a little bit of time for my eyes to adjust to the blurriness that was this game. It's a little bit muddy. It didn't really age the best, but once my eyes got adjusted, it really didn't bother me after a little while. It was a little stunning at first, coming off, you know, playing these 4K games on PlayStation 5 and stuff. It did take a second, but my eyes got adjusted fairly quickly, maybe like 30-40 minutes, and I was like, yeah, it's not bothering me anymore. Wasn't really bothering me at first. It was just like, oh, okay, yeah, this is a PS2 game, and I know there's a version on 360 that was probably HD. I don't even know if the version I was playing on my PS5 was HD. I don't think it was. It may have been, but regardless, it was a great looking game for the time, on par with the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, stuff like that. But it has some other unique things, like the seasons actually do change. Like, you are spending a year in the school, so the seasons do change. It goes to wintertime, and it's all snowy, and they have decorations around for Christmas, and the snow even has like its own kind of physics. It's slippery, it's harder to ride your bicycle, it's harder to skateboard in the snow, so they got that going on, and it runs good. It's a good running game. It does get like a little bit choppy at times when there's a lot going on. Like, there are some times where there's just a whole bunch of students going on. You can start some chaos, maybe punch a couple of students, and then they all get riled up, and then you get a big group, and then a big old fight breaks out. It can get a little choppy during that kind of stuff, but outside of that, the game ran very smoothly. I didn't have any major glitches or anything. I didn't even really encounter any, like, funny glitches, really, that sometimes happens in the Grand Theft Autos, where just some weird shit happens, but it's funny, so it's okay. I didn't even really have any of that happening, so that's fine. The game runs good. The character models are a little bit stiff. The hands are like one solid piece, and the mouths aren't really moving with their words that well, but the game has your classic like school cliques. They have the nerds, the jocks, the burnouts, the greases, if you will. But there's a particular nerd. I think his name is Algie, and I love the way that he walks. It's just like that waddle. It's a very goofy walk, and every time I see him, it makes me giggle. And just fucking Algie in general, he's just an outrageous freaking nerd character. He's got the shorts pulled all the way too high up. His zipper is undone, showing his underwear, and he's just a mess. He's an absolute mess. But I love the way that he walks, so that's enjoyable. I like that. But overall, it's a good-looking game. Like, it doesn't hold up to anything now. This is a game that absolutely would thrive in a remaster, remake. You bring up the models. You like this one, not just like an HD like paint coating. No, I would love this game to be rebuilt with a whole new engine. Bring up the character models, and man, this game would be one of the best, man. It would be so fucking good if they updated it. Because the story is fun, the characters are excellent, and if you just brought them to life a little bit better, brought them into the modern age with some better movement, more realistic voice or facial animations and stuff, oh my goodness, this game would be outstanding. I would love for them to remake this game. I just don't think it would ever happen, sadly, because Grand Theft Auto is just too big. But the thing that sucks is that, like, this game wasn't even made by, like, the main Rockstar. It was the Rockstar Vancouver, and they have other divisions in Rockstar that could make games. It's just, like, they're too focused on doing the online and just pumping up a whole bunch of money out of their one game, which, it is what it is. But maybe one day it'll change and we can get Bully back. But, man, this game would absolutely just be so good for a remake. Absolutely be sensational. Let's go over to the sound design now, and I gotta start out saying, the music in this game is absolutely awesome. Oh man, is it ever catchy. The bass, baby, oh my god, just boo-doodle. I'm like, yo, I am grooving. I was grooving throughout this whole entire game, man. I love the music. Now, this is where it gets a little different from Grand Theft Auto. We don't have the licensed soundtrack. There's no radio with the awesome DJs and the ridiculous commercials and stuff like that. So it is lacking that, but wow, to see what Rockstar can do when they don't have a licensed soundtrack to go to, they could just make their own music. I was blown away. I loved the music in Bully. It is so catchy, so groovy. I was stunned. I was like, immediately was like in love with the music. I just absolutely loved how groovy it was. It's got a good range. I just love the main tone of it is that bass, that really groovy bass line that it's got going there in the main theme. It's awesome, man. I really, really enjoyed the bass in this game. Oh man, the music so fucking good. It's definitely a contender for my favorite music of the year, and it's going up against modern games. It's a different style. Like, obviously, it's not like, oh, it's this crazy orchestral fucking soundtrack. No, it's just super groovy. It fits in with the theme. It's got, school bells and little dinging and little bells and stuff like that. So, yeah, dude, I was over the moon with the soundtrack in this game. Loved it. And the voice acting, of course. is spot the fuck on. It's great. It's Rockstar, so you know they're gonna bring the great voice acting, and across the board, man, it is awesome. We'll start with Jimmy. I mean, Jimmy is awesome. He is, like I said, super confident, super cocky, and he loves to talk shit. He's just the fucking man. And so many times Jimmy was awesome. So basically you're trying to make the school better, essentially. You show up as Jimmy Hopkins, and even he is like, yo, this place is fucked up. The teachers are fucked up. The kids are fucked up. I'm going to take over the school. I'm going to be the leader. That's the whole goal here. You want to be the man. And Jimmy is the man. And when he starts to show you how he's the man, starting to beat the shit out of all the alleged leaders of the school, man, he just, like, I love when he starts to celebrate. He's like, yeah, that's right. I'm the best. Who's the best? I'm the best. And he's that kind of guy. He's just super confident, super cocky. And I'm all about it. I really like that. So his voice acting is great throughout the whole entire game. There's a lot of awesome characters in this game. Gary is a straight up sociopath. The guy is a psycho. You meet up with him really early. He kind of latches onto you. He's like, oh, new kid. Maybe I can take advantage of him. And he's also trying to, better the school, but in his way, not so great. So, we're kind of friends with Gary at first, and then we're not so friendly with Gary. But one of the best things we get to do with Gary on Halloween night, you go around the campus and you're pranking students, you're throwing fucking eggs at them, you're throwing stink bombs around, and you're trying to rile up everybody. And then you get to finish it off with the classic bag of burning dog shit. He called the shit poop. Does anyone remember Billy Madison? Come on now, let's go. But man, hanging out with Gary in the early parts of the game was a lot of fun. I can't remember the fucking name of the little nerd. He's just like the little, oh guys, let's just be careful or whatever the heck. He was cute. He was kind of cute. He's there also throughout the whole game. He's kind of that third wheel of trying to tell you guys like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that. But he was pretty good. You got Russell. Russell is like the classic giant meathead jock. He's just that kind of guy, but he will beat the fucking shit out of people. And he has this great moment. You're doing this mission and you're using him as like a bodyguard, and he just like, we need to get through this barricade, and he's just like, Russell smash, and he just goes fucking torpedoing into this explosion, massive explosion, and he's completely fine. He's like, yeah, I got it, no problem, not a big deal. Fucking crazy. What other, I talked about Algie. He's like kind of not necessarily the leader of the nerds, but he's just like the nerdy nerd, and I like him a lot. He's a dork. Love the way that he walks. And then the freaking teachers, the staff of this place is out of control. The principal is that classic, like, super neglective, like he thinks everything is okay. Like, oh, what a fantastic school. All my students are so great, and students will be like, hey, I got beat up, and he's like, oh, that's not true. That didn't happen. There's not in a great school like this. So the teacher is an absolute goofball, or the principal. The gym teacher, oh my god, that guy is probably my favorite. I didn't look it up, but I swear he is voiced by the guy that voices Bender and Marcus Phoenix in Gears of War. It had to be. It sounded just like him. But he's classic. He freaking classic gym teacher. The bald head and the big gut. And, man, he's good shit, man. I like that guy as well. And the lunch lady. Oh, man. I got to shout out the lunch lady. Classic, disgusting human being. She's got the cigarette in her mouth all the time. She's hacking up a lung into the food. She's like, it's extra flavor. And shit like that. She's disgusting. And there's some fun missions with her where you're like trying to get her a partner, trying to get her hooked up with one of the other teachers, and you have to like defend her from students while she's on her date, and they're coming up trying to smash her in the back of the head with like baseball bats and shit. I'm like, what the fuck place do we live in? I love it. I absolutely love it. So the lunch lady is absolutely ridiculous. She's disgusting. But man, the voice acting across all of them are great. The only thing, like I said, if only they had the animation and the graphics to match how good the voice acting is. Like, yeah, there's some spots where it's like, obviously they just kind of walked into a room, they were given this line, not a lot of context, and they delivered it as best as they could. But man, if they can just upgrade that lunch lady and just get like, oh man, it would be so fucking awesome, man. I want it. It'd be like up there for one of my most wanted video games to get rebooted would be Bully, because it would be so freaking good to bring these characters into the 4K era. So the lunch lady is absolutely disgusting. There's a lot of disgusting things going on in this school, man. Like I said, there's kids throwing stink bombs everywhere. You got eggs getting thrown. You got kids puking and sneezing and just being absolutely disgusting. Putting firecrackers in the toilets, exploding them, making a big old mess and stuff. All the classic shit that you would have gotten expelled for probably in Ski, but you're here in a video game, and it is a video game, so maybe we should talk about the gameplay and what the heck are you doing in this game? Like I said, it's pretty close to a Grand Theft Auto game. We're not too far off. No, we're not equipped to loaded up with weapons and RPGs and knives and shit like that. You do have weapons, and you're not necessarily committing Grand Theft Auto, but you can steal bikes and stuff. But your whole goal is you're trying to make the school better, you're helping out students, you're helping out teachers, and you're trying to get in with all the cliques in the school. And to do that, you gotta help them around the school. And you can interact with people throughout the school, you can talk with them, you can be mean to them, you can punch them, you can throw eggs at them. But the less you're mean to them, the more you will earn their respect, and then they won't bully you in the classrooms and all that shit. But you want to earn the respect of the nerds, the greases, the jocks, the rich kids, and all of that stuff. So the game kind of like latches on to a group every kind of like chapter. There's like a few chapters in the game or whatever. But like I said, it's kind of like a Grand Theft Auto. You're third person, you're running around. It's, I guess, open world, if that's what we want to call it. You can go around and kind of do whatever you want, but not really. So there's like missions around, but you're also taking part in classes, and the classes are really fun. Well, most of them are pretty fun. So you got like a time, you got like a watch or whatever, a little clock in the top, and your classes start at like 9 o'clock. You do one class in the morning, you do one class in the afternoon. You don't have to go to them. You can skip the class, of course. You can be a bad boy and skip the class, go do a mission throughout the day, go earn some money in town, do whatever you want. But when you are doing something you're not supposed to do, the teachers on campus basically act as cops in the game. There are cops that roam around in town, but the teachers are basically cops. So if you are caught in the hallways when you're not supposed to be, and you're supposed to be in class, if they see you, they're going to chase you. And if you can, they're pretty easy to outrun. They run out of breath pretty quickly. But if they do catch you, you will get an opportunity to hit the triangle button and you can get away. Or if they do catch you, they're going to send you to class. Oh, jeez. They're going to send you to class, or they will send you to bed. If you are past the curfew, which starts at I think it's 11 p.m. the curfew starts. If you're caught outside after that time, you will be forced to go to bed. And then if you are out too late, you will just drop wherever you are at 2 in the morning. You just drop and fall asleep, and then the next day starts. But you have a few home bases that you can go to. You got your own room in the dorm, and you can actually unlock kind of little bases around town. So there's a beach house that you can get from the rich kids. There's a cool kind of bar that you can get from the greasers. So you got little home bases that you can run into on the way throughout town. But the classes are actually pretty interesting. So they're all kind of play out as a mini game. And you got English class, which I dreaded at first because, English class, everyone hates English. I actually kind of liked English. I liked writing and anything. Anyway, English is interesting because it's just a word scramble. They're here's a bunch of letters, and you have to make as many words as possible within 90 seconds or something. And I absolutely froze when I got to English classes. I was like, oh, geez, I can't figure out what words to make. I actually had to have my wife with me. I'm like, hey, you're good at this stuff. You come here and help me get past these English classes. So I was pretty bad at English class. I wasn't good. Gym class is pretty sweet. So if you're not wrestling Wrestling, it'll like teach you moves. We'll talk about the combat in a little bit, but sometimes you get to play dodgeball, and that shit is pretty fucking awesome, man. It's like you versus 3-on-3 dodgeball. It's not like super hardcore or super intense. It's just throw the ball. You can press the X button to catch it if you time it right, and it's fun, man. Like, it is a lot of fun. It's simple. It's dodgeball. It's a good time, so I enjoyed that. Chemistry was the easiest class. It's just hit the button at the right time. Really, really simple. I never failed a chemistry class. My chemistry teacher really liked me. Art was I didn't like it at first. I didn't understand what the fuck I was supposed to do, really. But basically, they give you a canvas with a picture on it, and you're supposed to, like, kind of like the game Snake. You have to, like, draw out a picture. It's really confusing. I didn't like it very much. It was okay. It was whatever. Not a big deal. We got shop class. Shop class was kind of fucked up because the controls were messy. Similar to chemistry, you're just supposed to, like, hit the buttons. But it made me, like, rotate the analog stick. And for some reason, it was just really, really finicky. And I had a hard time getting through some of those shop classes. And you got photography. Photography, pretty simple. You go around taking pictures of stuff. At first, I didn't like it because it was like, oh, I'm in town, I'm running all over the place. I'm like, oh, this is going to be tedious. But eventually, the picture taking gets a little bit better. So that's kind of like the side. Like, it's definitely not the main part of the game. You're just kind of going to class on the side. And you're supposed to pass, I think it's 4 classes, possibly 5. And I don't know. Honestly, I didn't get through. Like, I beat the game, but it lets you continue afterward. And you can finish off finishing your classes and stuff like that. I didn't finish them, but it is what it do. Because, I don't know, they weren't, like, that fun that I wanted to come back and play them a whole bunch of times. But you can, also, the first time I got sent to the principal's office, and there's kind of like levels to how much trouble you can get into. So, like, you can throw an egg at a student in front of a teacher. They'll be like, hey, knock that off, you silly, that's ridiculous. Then you can escalate things by punching a female teacher in the face. They don't like that. They really didn't like that. I basically got like 5-star wanted, basically. Like, everyone was chasing me, and if I got caught, I was instantly busted. So it was like, all right, they really don't like you hitting girls. They don't like you hitting the adults. I accidentally stole a girl's bike, and they got very upset. They're like, oh, you're messing with a girl, you're done, son. So yeah, don't mess with the girls in Bully. You can punch a man, you can punch a boy in the face, you can steal his bike, not a big deal. You punch a fucking female teacher in the face? Oh, buddy, you're going to the principal's office, and that was the first time I went to the principal's office. Yo, that teacher was bugging me, so I punched her in the face. That's what you get. So, since we're talking about punching and all that stuff, I guess we should talk about the combat in Bully. And it's a little bit stiff. You got, like, you're punching. It's actually okay. The combat's okay. It starts out very simple. You just have to punch. Low punching combo. I think you can kick people when they're down, and I think you can grab them and push them. But as you go through the game, like I said, in gym class, during the wrestling portion of it, you can learn new moves. They'll show you new combos. And if you find these, I think it's like radios or something the guy wants. There's a homeless man living behind campus, and if you bring him radios, he will teach you how to fight. So yeah, you get some pretty decent combos. Like, they're simple, just hit square 4 times, and then if you hold it the 5th time, you do a big old roundhouse kick. So that one's good. You could do like a little trip, and you get some pretty decent like grabbing techniques. Like, you can grab a kid, you can wrestle him down to the ground, and you start like fucking mount him and just start slugging him in the face. Like, the combat actually isn't that bad. It is just a little bit. It's just stiff. It's just a little like, it's not very fluid, but it works. And then you get a whole bunch of like freaking weapons, man. You get a whole bunch of things you can pick up. Like I said, you get like a chemistry set in your room, and the better you do in chemistry class, you will be able to make yourself more fucking shit. So you can make stink bombs, you can have eggs, you have your slingshot, the slingshot's like your all the time weapon. You get some really badass weapons later. There's like the potato gun, which is just awesome. It's a freaking potato gun. You get a firework launcher, which is excellent. You have firecrackers. There's a lot of weapons, and they're all really smart. They're all school themed. Firecrackers, stink bombs, eggs. Instead of rocket launchers, machine guns, machete, shit like that. So that's cool. You can also pick up weapons on the ground. There's a piece of there's a 2x4 on the ground. You better believe I'm picking that shit up. I'm whacking Tony across the head with a fucking 2x4. And that's when shit gets real. You got a weapon now. Everyone's like, oh, jeez, he's got a weapon. This kid's out of control. So you got some side weapons to use. There was a really fun, mission that you got to do when you get your slingshot. So they're trying to teach you how to use the slingshot. And you climb up a tree and they're like, oh, snipe the football players while they're doing practice. So they're running by you, thunk, and you fucking shoot them. They go down, and good times are had. Oh, and there's oh my god, I couldn't believe this one. But so they have they have marbles. You can throw down marbles on the ground. The kids will trip on them. Fucking hilarious when that happens. And you can trip yourself up too. And I did. So I saw once it got to wintertime, for some reason, people started dropping banana peels on the ground. I'm like, are we serious right here? And I went over and I'm like, and I slipped on that banana peel, and I was like, oh, this game is amazing. I love that. So you get some, it's just constant hilarity as you're running around campus. Everyone's just fucking fighting with each other all the time, throwing eggs, dropping bananas on each other. And kids are falling, they're screaming and yelling. It's very funny. I had some good laughs, especially when, you just throw a thing of marbles on the ground and you just watch people fucking slip on the marbles. It's simple fun. It's great times. So the game has this kind of weird social system. So there's girls around the SKU, and you can try and be sweet to the girls, and you can try and get them to kiss you. So to do that, the best thing to do is to give them gifts. You can go to the shop in town. You can buy flowers. You can buy chocolates. The classics, right? And then you can talk to the girls. Eventually, they'll start to warm up to you if you're nicer to them. Give them compliments. Just be nice in the hallways. And then eventually you can give them a gift. If you give them enough gifts, they'll let you kiss them. And if you kiss them, it gives you a health bonus, which is dope. And I think I don't remember what class. Every class gives you a bonus. One of them, the kisses give you more of a bonus. What other? I don't even remember all the bonuses. But you get bonuses from finishing the classes. And you can... I didn't really get this part of the social system to work, but you can basically beg for forgiveness. Say you go up to a group of jocks and you punch one by accident, and the jocks are pretty big and strong. They're fast. They can catch you. They'll spear you down to the ground. They'll group up on you and beat you up. And you can apparently apologize to them and try and cool things down, smooth things over. Be a man. Use your words instead of your fists. And I never got that to work. I just always used my fist. It was a lot easier. If the jocks were bugging me, I'd shoot them in the fucking stomach with a potato gun, and off they went. So you could do that. You can do it with the teachers as well. You can pick the locks of students' lockers, and inside them you can find flowers and chocolates and stuff like that. So that's always pretty key. But if a teacher catches you, you apparently can apologize, and they might leave you alone. I never really got that one to work, so I don't really know if I was doing it wrong, or it's just in the moment, I'm just I'm not going to slow down. I'm not going to stop running and be like, oh, hopefully my apology will work. And I'm just going to fucking run away. It's easier to just run away for 8 seconds for the person to run out of breath, because they always just run out of breath and then they forget about you. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad. There's also a ton of little collectibles that you can find throughout the game. There's a ton of rubber bands that you can find just scattered all over the place. There are Dungeon and Dragon cards, and what the fuck was the other thing? There's some other collectible, but in Grand Theft Auto fashion, there's just a shitload of them. So freaking many. I found quite a few of the rubber bands, but I think there's 70 plus of those, and there's a lot of collectibles. So you can be pretty busy doing up collectibles and shit like that. And they also have, I touched on a little bit, but you can do these odd jobs around town as well. That will actually earn you money, and you can go out in town and buy new clothes. You can dress yourself in Grand Theft Auto fashion. You get some pretty outrageous outfits, nothing too crazy. Well, actually kind of crazy. I mean, you can wear the mascot uniform. You can dress yourself up pretty good. Me, myself, Once I got more popular and got more money, I bought myself a nice kind of like a Don's outfit. I got the track suit, and then eventually I moved on to like the tuxedo and the top hat, looking proper, because I was running this bitch. I was running this school. So you can go around earning money to buy items. If you need to buy stink bombs, you can buy clothes, and there's a bike shop. You can go buy new upgradable bikes. They're okay. I never really bothered having to buy the bikes. There's enough bikes around that I can just steal them, or I can just grab them and grab a bike and go. And so that's your fastest way of getting around. There is a slight fast travel in the form of like bus stations. You go up to a bus station, it'll take you back to school. Other than that, you don't have any other like fast travel. You have to ride everywhere. But it's not a very, very big world. It doesn't take very long. I'd say from your furthest point, which is probably the carnival, all the way back to school, probably take you like 40 seconds to ride there on your bike. So not a big deal. And if you don't have a bike available to you, you have your skateboard at all times. And the skateboard's pretty quick. It's not as fast as the bike. It's slightly faster than running, but you have to have it on like the pavement. You can't ride it on the grass. You can't ride it on the dirt. You know, just like a real skateboard. So there's that. And students, fucking teachers, police officers, people will just randomly come up to you asking for help. And it'll just be just a little quick thing. Depends on who asks you. Like students will be like, oh, shove 3 kids into a locker, or break into 3 lockers, push a kid into the toilet, knock out 3 jocks, something like that. Or people in town would be like, oh, hey, can you deliver this to this area? So you can just earn a little bit of quick respect or some quick cash if you need to do that. So they have all those little extra missions. And there's other like little fun things to do around town. There's a lot of races you can get into. The races were pretty meh. They're kind of similar to they were in Grand Theft Auto. Like you're just driving. I didn't really like them very much at all because they're all bike races. And you're just hammering the A button, just in it, tap, 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 tap. You're just hammering it until the race is over. And it was okay. Like you could punch each other while you're on the bikes, which is pretty satisfying. I love doing that in town. I'd just be riding and some innocent person's just walking around minding their own business, and I slug them in the back of the head while I'm riding by, and they're like, hey, what the heck, man? I'm gone. There's nothing you can do about it. What are you going to do? I'm Jimmy. Jimmy's the man. All right. So you can do that kind of shit. They have like little arcade games around, and one of the fun missions with the nerds, you have to earn the respect. This is how you get into their hangout. You have to beat one of their high scores in a game, in like an actual arcade game. They have a bunch of these little arcades around you can play. And this one was pretty fun. It just took fucking forever. You have to beat his high score. And, what was the game? You're basically, I don't know, you're just like this big fat guy and you're like eating things, and you have to build your weight up all the way to like 1,000 pounds. And I was just like, it wasn't hard. It was just tedious because it took so long to get to 1,000 pounds. But I beat him. But they have other little games around that you can play, and you can go to the carnival. The carnival is pretty sweet. You can you start there on a mission. One of the better missions, you take like one of the rich girls out, and oh my goodness, the rich kids are so ridiculous in this game. Like they're all like, you know, they're like, oh, we're all inbred, like we date our cousins, and like they're on that level. So they're just ridiculous. You take the one rich girl out to the carnival, and it's really fun. You just go around and you're doing the carnival games, you're trying to win her a prize and all that crap. It's fun. You can go back to the carnival and play the games whenever. Classic game, you have like the targets, you hit the targets, you do the strength test and all that crap. So that one was actually really fun. And you can ride on some of the rides. I went on the roller coaster, and I went on a roller coaster in a video game. It's as fun as it sounds. So there is that, you know, to keep you occupied if you're not doing the main missions, and obviously that's the bread and butter of the game. Essentially, you're going around and you're doing your missions, and they're really fun. Not like the most memorable ones necessarily. Like there were a few standouts. Like I wrote down the carnival was a lot of fun, and they'll have like these big fucking kind of brawls or a big final level when you're gonna take down the big leader of one of the cliques. Like I think you get into a boxing match with the jocks, and then there's like this big fucking, I don't even know. There was a funhouse level. You have to go back to the carnival. I hated that one. I struggled with that one. It took me like 3 or 4 times to get through it, and the big problem was that I had to travel all the way back to it. It would send me all the way back to the ski, and I'd have to ride my bike or my skateboard all the way back out to town, start through the funhouse again. That was probably my least favorite level, but the boxing matches where I like first got that big funny victory out of Jimmy, and where he was just like, I'm the best, who am I, I'm Jimmy, I'm the best, and he's the king of the school, so that was pretty damn good. There's some damn good missions in this game. The final one it was fine. It wasn't like the most memorable thing. It was just a big kind of final fight with you-know-who, a little bit of a sociopath feller there. I don't want to say his name, but anyway, that was the game. And it really didn't take me all that long. You become the king of the school, and then after that, like I said, you can just kind of continue playing on the game. You can still partake in classes. I should go back and finish it off just to see if I finish my classes, my parents are supposed to come back, and I'd like to see what would happen if they come back. Like, am I just going to tell them to shove it? Like, get the hell out of here. You guys go take another year-long honeymoon. I'm happy here. I'm the king now. Everyone loves me. But the game didn't take me that long to get through. I was a little bit, I'll say, disappointed. Like, it wasn't bad that it was short. I wanted more. I wanted to play this game for so much more. It only took me around 14 hours to complete the main game. And yeah, you can continue playing it after. I was about 70% done. A lot of that extra percentage that I'm missing is the collectibles. Like, I did all the missions that were available to me. I have a few classes left to finish off, but outside of that, there's not a lot left over that you can do. You can fuck around in the town, I guess, if you want to, but it doesn't have that crazy chaotic fun that you can have in Grand Theft Auto, where you can just, I barely even played the story in San Andreas back in the day. I didn't even beat that game. It took me like 6 years to finally get through that game and actually focus on the missions, because most of the time I would just be, on the boardwalk killing hookers and getting into gang wars and shit like that. There's not really much of that to Bully, that you can just kind of mess around with people. It doesn't really go on like that, so it doesn't have that constant replayability that a Grand Theft Auto has. But I would totally play this game. Well, would I totally play this game again? I don't know. I really liked it. I would be fucking right there for a Bully 2. I'd be right there for a Bully remaster, remake, anything like that. I would be there for it 100%. I really hope this isn't the end of Bully and Jimmy Hopkins and just Rockstar just neglecting their other franchises. Like, I'm not huge. I don't know much about Midnight Club, but I know people love those games. Even table tennis. Remember table tennis? That was a Rockstar game. Can you imagine if they made a Rockstar table tennis game now? How crazy that would be. There'd be drugs, and there'd be some crazy story about this other tennis or table tennis player doping up, and you got to you gotta do it. They could do some fucking cool shit with that. I would love to see what Rockstar can do with just crazy things. Here's the NHL license. Do something with it. And it's fix it, please. That'd be fun. But seriously, I'm all there for a Bully remaster, remake, anything like that. But for now, all you have available to you is the original Bully, and you can play the enhanced versions. I played this on PS5. It cost $11.99. I think, was that the sale price? I think it was. $11.99's on sale. 100% worth that price, absolutely, to check out this game. If you like Rockstar games and you like Grand Theft Auto, you're going to like this. This was a ton of fun. Really, the only things I had a problem with, the camera wasn't great. Sometimes it would get stuck. It's just, it's an older camera, so it's not the best. It gets stuck sometimes. And the graphics just didn't age all that great. Like I said, it was a little bit hard to look at for the first half hour or so. My eyes adjusted, and eventually the game was fine. But yeah, she's not much of a looker anymore. But again, Rockstar, you want to remaster this game, I would fucking love that. It would be so good. And yeah, I guess there's not really a lot of that Grand Theft Auto meat on the bone where you can just you can fuck around in town. It's not that you can't, it's just not as fun as it is in San Andreas. Things that I liked about this game: great cast of characters. There are so many goofballs in this game. I talked about them, the lunch lady, the principal's ridiculous. I think I talked about it, but there's the one mission with the lunch lady. You have to help her. She's going on a date, and you have to there's kids walking up behind her with baseball bats, and they're gonna crack her in the back of the head, and you have to shoot him with the slingshot. That shit was great. She's a funny character. The nerds are great. The fucking rich kids are ridiculous. They're so just nasty. They're those really over-the-top, silly rich kids, all inbred and stuff. Absolutely fantastic. The jocks are jocks. They're all right. They're big and dumb and mean, but they're all right. They're there. I really like the characters. The game is funny as hell, too. Giggling throughout the whole entire game. Like, the dialogue between the characters are very, very funny. The things that teachers are saying to the kids, that almost always busts me every time you walk by a teacher and they're like, you're a failure, you're a disappointment. It's like, jeez, man, like, what kind of teacher are you? You're just awful. They have a good mission variety. Like, there wasn't one mission that was very similar to the last one. I like that we're doing something different. We're helping out this group, we're helping out that group, and all in all, we're just becoming the best kid in the freaking world. The music is banging, man. I freaking so into the groovy, bassy music of this game. I wish Rockstar would put a little more of their own music into the games every now and again. I love me a good licensed soundtrack, but man, there's some good music here in Bully. I was very, very surprised by how much I got into the music. Voice acting is fantastic. It's not like it would be like some of the best of that era, that PS2 era. Very high levels of voice acting for that era. It still stands up today. Like, not a bad performance whatsoever. Though there might be like a line or two that just kind of doesn't sound like it was performed properly, because there might just not have been context. So, like, here's this line, we don't really know what we're going to do with it, but just give us a line and we'll work with it. So sometimes it feels like that, but what can you expect? It was PS2. They didn't have the crazy budgets that they have for video games now, hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't even want to know how much this game cost. It's probably substantially lower than the amount of money that Sony lost trying to put Concord out. So there you go. Overall, man, this game was great. Absolutely worth your time. If you're a Rockstar fan of Grand Theft Auto, you want something a little bit different, are you getting sick of Grand Theft Auto 5, playing that for the last 12 years, you haven't tried out Bully? Give Bully a shot, y'all. It is absolutely worth your time. On a scale today, I'd hit it with an 8 out of 10. I had a great time with this game. Super funny, super enjoyable. The characters were awesome. If I played this back in the day, man, it'd definitely be like probably one of my favorite games of all time. Like, if this got replaced, if Bully was there instead of San Andreas for me, there would definitely be a void there in my life without San Andreas. That's my baby, but Bully is a very, very nice substitute, a very nice palette change on the Grand Theft Auto thing. Just something different. I would love for them to do this again. I would love a sequel to Bully where you're in high school or you're in college, something like that. And that can even turn into a fucking Grand Theft Auto, right? Maybe Jimmy Hopkins goes to high school, goes to college, and he, I don't know, meets someone from the Grand Theft Auto world, and then he learns how to become a criminal, and then in Grand Theft Auto 7, you're playing as badass Jimmy Hopkins. That would be fucking awesome. Hey, I'm giving you free ideas out there, Rockstar. If you want to take it, just give me like $18 million. That should cover me for a bit. And yeah, I'll gladly accept that amount of money to help you out with Bully 2. But please make it. Please make it. At this point, I have zero hope that they would make it. It's going to take them like 13 years to get Grand Theft Auto out, or Grand Theft Auto 6, and I'm expecting a very similar formula for Grand Theft Auto 6, where it's going to be a decade-long updates of online and completely neglecting all of your other IPs. So sadly, this may be your only chance to play Bully, and absolutely do it before it's too late, before it ages itself out of contention to be played anymore. It's still a good game, still a great game in my opinion. So get out there, download Bully. You can get it on sale for under $20. It's absolutely worth it. Totally. You'll thank me later. So there we go, y'all. That's the retrospective on Bully. And a big one knocked off of my backlog list right there. Bully was around the top. I've always been interested in Bully. Way back when I first heard about it, before it even came out, I was like, yo, this game looks sweet. It was just my guardians did not want me to have it, which is, again, extremely weird, because they allowed me to watch R-rated movies. They allowed me to watch South Park. They allowed me to stay up late, but they drew the line at the word Bully. They're like, nope, but they let me play San Andreas. I don't get it, man. It's just one of those fucking things. We're gonna die on this hill, and it's weird, but that's the way it is. Did you guys get to play Bully growing up? Let me know. Did you have great memories with Bully? I think Bully's underrated, man. Bully doesn't get talked about enough. all I can really remember was like people shitting on the name bully. That was a very hot time where, you know, the government and everyone was trying to shit on violence in video games and trying to blame video games for all the violence in the world. Let me tell you, it's you know, it's down there. It's down there on the rung of things that make people violent. Video games, I don't think they make people violent. I've never believed that. I get angry. I got angry today playing Call of Duty. And what did I do? I just said, I'm good. I'm done here. I'm not having fun. I'm going to stop playing. I'm not going to go out and kill 100 people. So I don't know. That's definitely a fucking topic for another day. We won't go down that road right now. But yeah, let me know if y'all played Bully. If you're gonna play Bully, do it because it's awesome, and get out there and play some Bully, y'all. But that is the episode for today. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. You the best. You want to be even more of the best, make sure you're hitting that review button. Follow along on Twitter and share it along with 1,000 or 2 of your closest friends or enemies. It doesn't matter. You can let your enemies listen to what you listen to. They might like it, and then you guys might not be enemies anymore. But hey, everyone needs an enemy. It's okay. We all need enemies. But what else we got going on here with the GX Plus cast? This week, it's a little hard for me to gauge because I lately have been a week ahead in the GamerCast world. So I'm a week ahead here. I'm trying to think what there probably was some sort of WWE pay-per-view review you can go back and listen to. There's always going to be a wrestling recap, and you can go back and listen to the 5 Halloween-themed episodes that I did for October, all talking about horror games, and I topped it off with the top 13 scariest moments I have ever dealt with as a gamer. It's not the gnarliest list of all time, I will admit, but hey, we've all dealt with scary shit, and that's my list. So if you want to go hear what I dealt with in my time as a gamer, go check out that episode. It was a fun one. And if you're a fan of hockey, I also have my hockey cast where I talk about all 32 teams and the news and what's happening around the NHL. Check all that out. I upload all of these episodes to the YouTube channel, GamerGX Videos. Go over there, subscribe, watch the videos if you want to. Great place to drop a comment. You want a question answered live on the podcast? I'd love to answer your question about wrestling, video games, hockey. Anything outside of that, I'm no expert, but I will try my best. I know how to barbecue. I can help you with that probably. I'm not very good at it, but I could do it. Yeah, and there's an email address. You can check that one out if you want to have a private conversation. My door is open for everyone and anyone. Get out there, y'all. Play some Bully. Let's talk about Bully and try and get ourselves some Bully 2 or a Bully remake, something like that. Let's bring back Bully. And we'll be back with some GX Plus, man.